Shootaround's breaking ratings this week. Oh, tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We welcome you to the greatest week of the year in the Big East Conference. Every single season, all 11 teams come right here to the world's most famous arena. It's like a holiday. It feels that way, a family reunion, if you will. This is the 2023 Big East Tournament inside Madison Square Garden. Over the next 4 days, we'll have wall-to-wall coverage for you here on Shootaround. I'm John Fanta. He is Terrence Oglesby. He is Vin Parisi. Fellas, it's great to be with all of you. Before we get to the awards, which are coming up, you'll hear from the Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, the Scholar Athlete of the Year, the Freshman of the Year. Let's talk about this year in the Big East. Let's talk about the vibe inside this building right now. When you walked in, Vin Parisi, just a few moments ago, and you're visiting with people, this room filling up, what is Big East Tournament Week at MSG?
Well, I grew up with this, and then just being from the metropolitan area and being from the Big Apple, this is a holiday. This is like religion. When you walk through, you get the goosebumps. There's nothing better. My favorite week of the year. I love this week more than I actually love the madness for the entire month of March. It's unbelievable. But this year especially, I think the vibe is we could have one of the better tournaments that we've seen in a long time. When you look at the parity, especially that top half of the league this year, and when you talk about that there's teams that seeds second, third, fourth that have just as a good shot at winning this thing on Saturday night as the champion Marquette Golden Eagles, it makes for a great few days.
And I'm not from the Big Apple, right? And I'm from a different part of the country, and I've been to several different conference tournaments. There's nothing like Madison Square Garden. There's nothing like the Big East tournament. And the fact of the matter is, the fans of this conference are about as good as there are in college basketball as a whole. Terrific league, terrific teams, and the top five guys, anybody could take it.
No doubt.
Let's lead off with the breaking news. It just came out. The conference's Coach and Player of the Year awards. This felt like a no-brainer once we got to today because a preseason number 9 team wins their first ever Big East outright regular season championship. That's being Shaka Smart, the Big East Coach of the Year, and the Marquette Golden Eagles, who have been led by Tyler Kolek. Your thoughts?
Well, it's the perfect marriage. You look at Shaka Smart and what he was done at his previous stop at Texas. It didn't quite fit. Buddy, does this fit? Marquette, he's able to establish his culture. The fan base has really embraced him. And he's coming back home, Vin. I think that's a big part of it as well. And you want to talk about a guy who can put some puzzle pieces together. Shaka Smart has certainly done that, and it's all spearheaded by Tyler Kolek, who in my mind, he's not just Big East Player of the Year. He's a first-team All-American. He's been that special for that Golden Eagle squad.
And you know, John had a great tweet a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to get the wording wrong, but I think you brought it back to like 3 or 4 years ago to when Tyler was going from a recruitable athlete under the radar, his journey into Division I, and now you fast forward 3 or 4 years to see him, the way he grew, the way he dominated, the way he played this year in this league is phenomenal. And it seems like yesterday we were here in October with Shaka sitting down that day when he was preseason pick 9th. But you know what? He talked about how much he loved his guys. He talked about how it didn't deter the group. He talked about how they were really connected, and that wound up being the theme of the season for them.
We've got the room filling up right now and some teams showing up as well. The entire Marquette team is here for Tyler Kolek, who on the season has 246 assists.
It's unbelievable.
To just 73 turnovers. When you've watched Marquette this year, Vin, what's allowed them to achieve the feat of winning a Big East regular season title and right now in the NCAA tournament being a 3 seed on brackets?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, the next few days plenty about how many pieces to the puzzle that Shaka truly has. Sure. But, and you're going to know this as a guard, I'm sure, is that it starts with Tyler. But I think what changed the dynamic was his shooting numbers, how they improved this year. Because if you remember when we called Marquette games last year, people would point to the 28% from deep, whatever it was. We knew he had the handle. We knew he had the playmaking ability. But now when you have to play him, when your offensive game goes to another level, it just opens up so many more things creativity-wise.
Well, they could no longer go underneath ball screens.
Exactly.
That's one of the big things. Now Tyler Kolek, people are having to play him tight. He's getting into the lane. We talked about puzzle pieces, Vin. Cam Jones, a bucket.
Yeah.
Omax Prosper has really stepped up into the type of player that a lot of people thought he could be coming into college. This was a highly recruited guy, and now you have Kolek, who just makes everything work. And, boy, he has been spectacular all season long. And like you said, Vin, his ability to shoot the ball really changed things. And that edge he plays with, Fanta, is different. He said it in the
swagger.
The swagger he plays with. I'm not going to say what he said, but, man, it is impressive.
And the last thing that really impresses me about Marquette is there's times where they're thin up front. And there's times to where the defensive rebounding numbers, I'm sure, aren't what Shaka would expect. So when they're undersized and they're battling with the front lines in this league and the toughness in this league and the physicality in this league, when you talk about Connecticut and Providence, to me that was just as impressive.
Terrence, you have a personal relationship with Shaka Smart, having played at Clemson when he was on staff there. What can you share with us about being around him from that perspective, player-coach relationship, that makes him different from just another coach?
Well, he has a feel for both the players and the coaches. He was always that intermediary between the coaching staff and the players, at least when I played. Obviously, he has a different type of connection. He has a feel for making his guys, Randolph Childress said it, his superpower is making guys feel like they're the best players on the floor, no matter who they are. He infuses confidence in his guys, and it helps when you're put in the right positions offensively.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to have that confidence to get going, and he gives that to those guys in spades, and it's always been that way.
Little Fanta nugget for you. Summer of 2002, 2003, Shaka and I were camp counselors together at the Hoop Group camp at the college in New Jersey. He was director of ops at Akron. I was video guy at Rutgers. Our morning attendance lines, like homeroom, were right next to each other. And as you could see by the 2 different career paths, Shaka was much more organized with his morning attendance than I was. Thank you.
Hey, tremendously organized.
Tremendous.
That's one thing that I think gets overlooked a lot of times. I mean, you want to talk about ducks in a row? Shaka's that guy.
Don't try to build him up
No.
by saying Shaka's in a class of his own here. Let's turn to Freshman of the Year, Scholar Athlete of the Year. Freshman of the Year from Villanova, it's Cam Whitmore, who's really come on down the stretch now for Villanova with the return of Justin Moore, but the pure frame, the scoring ability, the athleticism makes you fully believe that he is Villanova's first one-and-done talent since Tim Thomas back in the late 1990s. Then Cam Whitmore, Big East Freshman of the Year. We knew that he was going to be talented, but now he wins this award.
Well, and I think it was almost an evolution of himself in Villanova basketball this year, because there was a ton of pressure on Kyle Neptune, replacing a legend in Jay Wright, the fan base and everybody getting used to some tough early season losses, which hadn't happened at Villanova in a long time. But listen, at the end, I love the Ed Cooley line where he says, yeah, you think I'm a great coach right now? I got great players. And you think I'm a good coach right now? I have good players. You think, and he is a big reason why. When you look at the production, when you look at the lines of those box scores, why Villanova is one of the hottest teams you'll see in any league right now.
I think one of the big things you see as the season's gone on and they got Justin Moore back, he got more comfortable. And Vin, I think you'll attest to this. When you have a player on the floor, as soon as Justin Moore gets the ball, now everybody takes a deep breath.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you have a freshman who really was surviving on athleticism in his frame alone early in the year, now he's starting to figure himself out some more. Now he can attack a couple of closeouts, use that frame and athleticism.
And think about, and that's been I'm sorry to cut you up, but that's been the Villanova way.
Sure.
All of it not falling on one guy's shoulders.
Yep.
Jack Nunge wins Big East Scholar Athlete of the Year. We'll get to his accolades in a few moments. Awards presentation coming up briefly before we get to a break. The thing you are most looking forward to at the Big East tournament this week is?
The 4-5 game, Thursday at 2:30. This is going to be better than when I attended the NBA Finals here in 1994. It feels like 1970, but it's going to be electric. You talk about half the guard in Providence, half the guard in Connecticut. The two fan bases travel well. It's going to be special.
Oh, I think that's absolutely the game to watch so far, that 4-5 matchup. They don't necessarily love each other, too, between those two fan bases. It's going to be electric. MSG, the best place to watch a college basketball game, without a shadow of a doubt. And this is coming from a fairly new Big East guy. I'm here, and I'm ready. It's going to be a terrific matchup.
Who will join those 5 teams that know they're playing tomorrow? We'll find out coming up 3 Eastern time, FS1. It's St. John's and Butler to tip off the first round triple header. That'll be followed up by Seton Hall and DePaul. First meeting between those two programs in the Big East tournament. And then at 8 o'clock, it's Villanova and Georgetown for the 94th time. Wildcats and Hoyas, doesn't that just say Big East basketball? We'll take a quick timeout. After these messages, we'll send to the podium where John Paquette and Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman will get the Big East Awards ceremony underway. You're watching Shootaround from the tournament.
family and friends, and we're happy for all the media attention to this event. We appreciate you being here. And welcome to the 2023 Big East Tournament. It's great to be back at the Garden. Let me get through a couple of logistics so far. I'm John Marquette, and anyone from our staff, just ask us how we can help you get along for the week. We're going to have a great 4 days here. And we're asked the winners when they come up. We'll do a picture with Val Ackerman, and then ask you to make some brief comments, and we appreciate it. And then at the end, we would like to ask all the winners to come up for a group shot with your trophies. So anyway, for some opening remarks and the announcing of the presentation of the Big East Media Award, here's Commissioner Val Ackerman. Val.
Thanks so much, John, and good afternoon, everybody. We're really happy that all of you are here and excited about what the next couple of days are going to bring. It is so hard to believe that 10 years have passed since the Big East embarked on this new phase of our history by going back to its roots as a basketball-centric conference. I'm pretty sure that there were people back then who doubted the vision of the Big East presidents back in 2013, who were, I can tell you, very intent on keeping the conference at the great heights that it had achieved in its heyday. But here we are today, nearly 44 years old, going strong, and I want to publicly thank our presidents, our ADs, who are an amazing group, their staffs, our great coaches, and our players for pushing, for never doubting, for leading and succeeding as the march of the Big East has gone on. Winning programs don't just happen. They take a lot of hard work, and that hard work has paid off for our schools, and it's paid off for the recipients of our awards today. John Fanta is going to do the honors momentarily, but I wanted to just offer my personal congratulations and the congratulations of the conference to all of our award recipients and let you all know how proud we are to have you associated with the Big East. You are now an indelible part of our history. I want to especially thank Marquette President Mike Lovell and one of my heroines, Sister Rose Fleming from Xavier, for being here today and for the countless ways that you both support your schools, the conference, your student athletes, and the Big East and Big East basketball. I want to acknowledge our outstanding 42-year relationship, I think that's the right number, with the Garden, and thank very much Joel Fisher and his team for making these 4 days every March so special. Joel, thank you. I'll confess that 10 years ago, we weren't sure what kind of fan support the new look Big East tournament would command, but this whole package, the building, the histories, the rivalries, and of course those magic moments that happen every single year on the court, all of that has been a winning combination and has more than withstood the test of time. This year's tournament's a sellout, and we know the competition is going to be as fierce as it ever has been. I also want to thank our colleagues at Fox Sports for an exceptional 10-year run. Our agreement has 2 years to go, and we do expect to be in discussions about a renewal in the coming months. Fox has brought great value to the Big East, and we believe we've brought great value to them in return. And so we're hopeful that we'll be in business together for many years to come. Before I get to the Media Award, I also want to recognize the Big East Conference Office staff, many of whom are here today, for their absolutely tireless efforts. And I want to give a special shout out to Stu Jackson for 9 memorable seasons. Stu has done an absolutely fabulous job for us, and all of us wish him much success in his new role with the WCC. Stu, you'll be greatly missed. So, as many of you know, in 2019, after a 13-year gap, we brought back the annual Big East Media Award to honor print and electronic journalists who've made significant contributions to college basketball. The award is named for legendary writer Jim O'Connell, who was a friend and respected colleague of many of us in the Big East. I'm very pleased to announce that this year's recipient is another friend and respected colleague, the one and only Bill Raftery. For the historians in the room, Bill actually won the very first Big East Media Award back in 1996. But given Bill's special connection with the new iteration of the conference over the past decade, we felt strongly that it was fitting to recognize him for a second time. Bill has a resume and a list of accolades the length of my arm. It started with his playing days at LaSalle, followed by distinguished coaching campaigns at Fairleigh Dickinson and then Seton Hall. And he's now up to 40 years and counting at the mic, but his impact on college basketball goes way beyond all of that. Bill, here's why we're honoring you today. You make us laugh. You're a storyteller extraordinaire, and not a game goes by where we're not chuckling about an anecdote you told, or a turn of phrase, or a new word you came up with, or some high-octave sound that you produced as the game was cutting to commercial. You make us think. You're an analyst extraordinaire, and we know we can always count on you to break it down, explain what just happened, and predict what's coming next. You make us tired. I don't know how you do what you do during the day with the hours that you keep at night. Your energy and your stamina are not human. I've seen this myself in Ponte Vedra. God bless you. I often say, if Bill can do that, if he can work that hard, then I can do it too. And Bill, more than anything, you make us proud. In a league that places so much value on its history, who carries around more of that than you? Not many people today were with the league at the beginning back in 1979, but you were there, and we're so glad that the connection has remained unbroken. John tells me it was Dave Gavitt himself who talked you into broadcasting after you left the sidelines. And though we don't keep numbers on this, we suspect that you've now analyzed more Big East games than anybody else. Kevin McNamara said it best this week on the Big East radio show when he said, "You can't have the Big East tournament without Bill Raftery." Amen. You're truly one of our own. Bill, simply put, thank you for everything. It's now my supreme honor to present you with the 2023 Big East Media Award. Please come up and say a few words.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
No, you're the best.
Thank you.
Come on.
Oops.
This says, 2023 Big East Media Award for Distinguished Contributions to College Basketball, Bill Raftery.
Thank you very much. Oops. Thank you. Well, it certainly is an honor, obviously, and I look forward to seeing the other honorees. I want to congratulate everybody on a absolutely fantastic year from a coaching and a player's standpoint. I might suggest the energy comes from alcohol late at night on occasion, which doesn't hurt, obviously. I'm probably the only guy that's gotten an award twice, which means they ran out of recipients. So I want to thank the Big East as well as Val. Dave Gavitt started all of this, and you're right, Val. He said, "I've watched you coach. You should try TV." And thank you for the insight, Dave. I want to congratulate Marquette in particular. If Tyler Kolek could start passing the ball properly, they probably could have had a better year. But thank you guys for the thrills you've given us. You make our job so enjoyable. And just keep up the good work and have a great finish this week. Thank you.
We tell Bill he has a lifetime pass to any Big East social events. And you do. And now, for the introduction for our basketball awards, the man who is everywhere, but for the next 4 days he will be here at Madison Square Garden, John Fanta. John.
Thank you, John. Welcome, everybody, to the folks in this room, the folks in this building this week, the best week of the year. It's the Big East tournament. It's Madison Square Garden. Do we really need to say anything more than that? Hope everybody enjoys themselves. Good luck to the teams. It's my privilege and a pleasure to announce and welcome up our award winners for what has been an amazing 2022-23 season in this league. 4 teams ranked in the net rankings top 22. 4 teams ranked in the top 25. The regular season title race went right down to the wire. And our award winners separated themselves, 2 of them in the late goings of the regular season, and left no doubt as well, and that's why they're standing up here with us today. We begin with the Men's Basketball Scholar Athlete of the Year. And the Men's Basketball Scholar Athlete of the Year is given to a guy who does so much for his program, the Xavier Musketeers. Xavier's gone 23-8 this year, an amazing season, 15-5 in the Big East. And this player has averaged 14-8. He shot 51% from the floor. He's a great player. He's an even better person. He is an outstanding human being who embodies Xavier University. A graduate student, this player has compiled a 3.97 graduate GPA in the Xavier MBA program, after he had a 3.35 GPA as an undergraduate in accounting. In addition to his academic work, he has participated in Xavier's Special Olympics program. He is a member of the Xavier Student Athlete Advisory Committee as well. And for this honor, he will receive a $2,000 scholarship, which may be applied to graduate or professional studies. He is one of the great guys in this league. Proud to present the Big East Men's Basketball Scholar Athlete of the Year Award to Jack Nunge.
I just want to say thank you to my teammates, my coaches. I don't think anything of this would have been possible without them. I want to say thank you to Xavier University for everything that you've given me. I think it's just truly a blessing to be a part of the university, and to receive this award is an absolute honor. Also, just want to thank my family for all the support over these a rough couple of years back there. And lastly, I want to thank my wife. I'm probably the first person to ever do this, but I think I have to thank her. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. That was great. Let's turn to the Big East Freshman of the Year award. I remember sitting with Villanova in September, and head coach Kyle Neptune was sitting down and asked him about this player. And Kyle said, he is different. He is unique, not just as a player, but as a person, as a student athlete. And he has stepped into Villanova University, and he led all Big East freshmen, averaging 13 points per game, averaging over 5 rebounds per game. He went through some adversity. He missed the first 7 games of the season with a thumb injury on his shooting hand. That's hard to go through an injury when you're just about to start your college career. Fought through that to be a unanimous member of the All Big East freshman team. Was named Big East Freshman of the Week 4 times. His season scoring high was 29 points against Xavier on January the 7th. And he is the 3rd Villanova player to earn Big East Freshman of the Year honors in the last 6 seasons, joining Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and Omari Spellman. Please welcome the Big East Freshman of the Year, Cam Whitmore.
First and foremost, just want to thank the Lord for blessing me every day, waking me up in the morning, and just leading me in the right direction, keeping His faith in me. I want to thank my parents, my mom and my dad, for always sticking with me through day one. Thank you. I know you're in the crowd right now. Love you guys. And another thank you to the coaching staff of the Villanova Wildcats, Coach Nett, Coach Nars, Coach G, Coach Dwayne, just always believing in me, taking the time out of their day and just watching film with me. And just make me just a better basketball player. That's really it. So thank you guys.
Congratulations again, Cam. The last two awards that we are handing out today are going to the same program. And that program, amongst all of the success in the Big East this year, we talk about those 1.5 top 25 teams in the AP poll. That program separated themselves and has showed it throughout the season with a 17-3 mark in the Big East Conference, 25-6 overall. And what is notable about our Big East Coach of the Year award this year is that this leader powered the Marquette Golden Eagles to the biggest leap in the history of the Big East. From a preseason number 9 in the coaches poll to outright regular season champion for the first time in the history of their program in the Big East. This man has directed Marquette to a 44-19 overall record, 28-11 in the Big East in 2 years. He owns a career record of 316 and 161 in 14 years as a head coach. But beyond all the numbers, there are words that you see in his office and in their practice facility. And the one big word that drives this program is relationships. Relationships. And their head coach, who I present as the Big East Coach of the Year, has said, player development is also personal development. And every single person in his program has grown this year. And that's a reflection of his leadership. It is a privilege to celebrate the Big East Coach of the Year here today. Please welcome Shaka Smart.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Val. I'm just so grateful to be in the Big East. Now, I played Division III basketball, so for me, getting a chance to coach in the Garden and be around these guys that play at such a high level is so much fun. I want to thank my family. I have some family members here today, and coaching, being a family member of a coach is not always easy, and I just want to thank everyone in my family for the support that you give me and how much you allow me to be me, so that I can go after, doing the best I can in this job. I want to thank, more than anyone, our players. We were here in October with Tyler and Oso and Zach, and, as John mentioned, we were picked 9th, but you could tell, from the guys that were here at Media Day and from the rest of the team, they didn't believe that we were a 9th place team. And they believed that we could play with anyone, we could beat anyone. More importantly, they believed in each other. We have a very, very special group. I hope this season can go forever because aside from wins and losses, I've never been around such an enjoyable group of guys, such a group of guys that teaches us as coaches how we can be better at our jobs. So thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be your coach every day. I know you don't like me sometimes, but hopefully you understand that there's a genuine and deep love that we as coaches have for you, and the best part about it is the love that you guys have for each other. I want to thank our coaching staff. This award is really a team award. It's not something that goes to one person. It goes first and foremost to the players, but secondly to our coaching staff, our support staff, everyone that makes our program run the way that it runs. The relationships that our staff has with each other is very, very special. And again, thank you to the guys on our staff for allowing me to be me. I know I'm a pain in the butt as recently as 9:30 last night. But I just appreciate the way that you guys pour into our program and into our players. And then lastly, I want to thank our administration. I want to thank Dr. Lovell. I want to thank Bill Scholl. I want to thank everyone at Marquette that creates such a winning infrastructure and environment around our program. You can't win without that. You can't succeed without that. You can't enjoy what you're doing without that. And as someone who's, I used to be the young coach, now I'm the middle-aged coach. Been around a few different places. Marquette is a very, very special place to be. And it's no coincidence that we were able to do what we did this year in the regular season because of the infrastructure we have around us. But we're excited about getting started in this Big East tournament, and more importantly than anything, just grateful to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Shaka. It's time now for the presentation of the Big East Player of the Year honor. And in my opinion, the Big East Conference has the best point guard in college basketball this season. And he is our Player of the Year. This player elevated Marquette in every single way this season, steering the ship of one of the nation's most efficient offenses. He improved in the scoring column. He averaged 13 points per game. He led the Big East with close to 8 assists per game. On 8 different occasions this season, he tallied a double-digit amount of assists. In the last 3 games heading into this Big East tournament, he has totaled 34 assists for his team. And on the season, he has 246 assists to just 73 turnovers. Unbelievable numbers. But beyond those numbers, his leadership has been fantastic. When he came here on Big East Media Day, he said that this team would be improved. He said that this team could be the best in the Big East Conference. How many times does a guy who says that end up being here right now with a trophy in hand? So he has powered the Golden Eagles to this regular season title, and his swagger makes him one of the most interesting players and faces in our game. Proud to congratulate the Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek.
Thanks, John. Like Coach said, I wouldn't say this is an individual award. I'd say it's a team award, and it goes to show all the hard work that we put in together. My guys right over there, I want to thank them for all the support they give me. And, he was talking about all the assists, and you can't get an assist without somebody else making a basket. So I'm really grateful for them. I'm grateful for the coaches just believing in me and just showing me the way and picking me up from last year. And my family's right here in the front. I want to thank them as well. Countless hours in the gym with my dad, my brother. It's just been special, this ride that we've been on. So I want to thank the Big East and the coaches for voting on this. Believing in our team is definitely something that we all want to do. So thank you.
Thank you, John. If we could have all the award winners come up for a group picture, and then they will be available informally to the media. Thanks, everyone, for coming today. It's a great kickoff for our tournament.
That's right.
That's huge.
right.
You used to that. No matter what happens, thank the wire.
Had to do it.
Welcome back to Shootaround at the Big East Tournament. We're recapping the awards show. We're previewing what's to come this week. And we are with the first ever Xavier Musketeer to win Big East Scholar Athlete of the Year. It's Jack Nunge joining us. Jack, congratulations. We all heard 3.97 GPA, and did either of you come close to that?
I never heard that during my 4-year career. I never heard those numbers.
You know, what has allowed you to find a home at Xavier?
Yeah, I think it's just, everything about the university just kind of fit with what I was looking for when I, was transferring. And I think it's just like the people about Xavier are just special, and also just like the location, living in Cincinnati. It's very close to my home. I see my mom pretty much every week. She comes to every game, and just living in the Midwest, I have family everywhere. So, yeah, it's a great place.
When you were making the decision, I mean, there's nothing like the Cintas but take us through when you actually made the decision. Was there one or two overriding factors that just put it over the edge?
I think
for
it's just, like the tradition about Xavier basketball. I was talking with like Coach Steele when I decided to make the come. He told me about all the history, and it's just a great prestigious university. And I think that that's something that I really wanted to be a part of, I would say.
It's a student athlete award, of course, emphasis on student. But I have to ask you about your team this year and why you guys have had success so quickly under new coach Sean Miller.
I think it just started from day one. We all just bought into him. He had a great track record coming into the university. Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, all these NBA draft picks, and I think that that kind of just allowed us all to just trust him more from the jump, and just really, honestly, just buy in. I think that our whole team from top to bottom just been locked in from the first day he came on campus.
So take us through the first Sean Miller practice experience. Like when it hit you of, okay, this is going to get real.
Yeah, I'd say even just during warm-ups, like you're like, wow, this dude's just intense. Like he just brings a different energy every day, and I think that, his passion for the game just really kind of exhibits through all of us.
I'm sorry, for the listen, we're interviewing head coaches all the time, right? Everybody wants efficient offense. Everybody wants to make shots. Everyone wants to be tough defensively. Everyone wants to rebound. For the, X and O junkies out there, what did you learn the most from Coach, or what's his messaging the most from the locker room?
I think it's just about like having a constant flow and just being more consistent with what we do. Times where we aren't playing very well, like we pretty much know what we're doing. We're just not doing what we're supposed to do, I guess, out there. And I think that, that the way that he teaches us and doing the same stuff every day, I think that that's been the most consistent thing that we see.
This is a two-parter. First one's not a question. I just want to say excellent job saying thank you to your wife. Get used to that, because that never stops, no matter what it is. Continue to say thank you. Secondly, you guys are one of the most balanced offensive units. And you look at Sule Boom and all these different guys. I think you're a terrific player. You step out, you knock down shots, you do a lot of things for this team.
Thank you.
What makes you guys different going into the NCAA tournament that would throw you guys into second weekend, maybe even further?
Yeah, I think, as you said, we have a very balanced group. Kind of what we do on offense, we just make the best play, or, the open man is the best man to shoot it, I guess. And so, we have a bunch of different counters to whatever teams are doing offensively. And then also I just want to say, I think like this past month, our defense has improved greatly, and that's something that, has been a huge emphasis for us, every single day. And I think that, that's the defense is what would carry us to make a deep run.
Jack Nunge, not only did he win Scholar Athlete of the Year, he shared a piece of advice with us. I'm planning a wedding right now. Any last words of advice here before we tie the knot?
Yeah, Fantha needs. He's looking for notes.
Yeah,
he's been doing a lot of research.
Yep, internal notebook.
Just take your wife's advice and listen to her, and You know, she knows what's best. So.
He's off to a great
80-20.
start.
It's 80-20, right? She's right 80%.
80-20?
That's very
Yours
generous.
is like
It's
95.
generous. It's more 95-5 in my house, but I think, like, conservatively speaking, we'll give you 80-20.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
man, thanks for
Thank you.
coming
Congrats,
by.
my man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Jack Nunge, the Big East Scholar Athlete of the Year. As we move our award winners in, let's welcome in the Big East Freshman of the Year, Cam Whitmore. And Cam, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
To
Congrats, my man.
step into Villanova, the program's pedigree, and now to be among the class. We shared some of those recent names of Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and Omari Spellman, that now you're a Freshman of the Year from Villanova in the Big East Conference. What's the significance of that for you?
Just being a part of a winning type of program, coming off a Final Four win. So I mean, it was just a part of the process, and just me just being blessed and just being in the position I am in today. So.
You know, I'm glad John brought up your injury and how you got through that adversity. What got you through that, you know, when you look back on that time?
That's an advantage of being a Villanova. You have a brotherhood where you have a group of brothers who just pick you up on and off the court, especially off the court. Just you got senior leader Caleb coming in my room, always checking up on me, seeing if I'm good or not. Just with the injury, with the thumb injury, just how I am mentally. Just a little stuff, just me picking up.
Before this, or at the end of last season, Jay Wright leaves. You were already signed. There was no wavering with what you were going to do. You knew you were going to Villanova no matter what, and the whole team did. What does that say about your team, the Villanova culture, things like that? How could you put that into words?
We always preach just always staying together no matter like what happens on the court and off the floor, just staying together, staying with a group of guys, and it will change. And I mean, it happened like way before, like last year, the Final Four, they stayed together. Just, I mean, they know what to do, how to win. So,
Look, you join a class of great individuals who have recently won Freshman of the Year honors out of Villanova. A little bit of history.
yeah.
Since 2014, your team, your program, is 27-3 inside this building.
Wow.
How much do you believe that the Villanova Wildcats can cut down the nets on Saturday night?
We definitely can. It's hope. We will, though. We will.
Why?
I just feel like we have that culture and we have the leaders who've been there. Like we have 4 senior guards who just, you know, been in that position, just know what it is. So I mean, I think it's a possibility. We can.
Said it all. That was a perfect question and answer. I was going to ask him because when you look at the box scores, obviously your performances, Justin's performances, that all speaks for itself. I was going to ask you, is there another dynamic why you guys have finished so high?
I would say it's the whole team. Just we have Just, Eric, Slate, and Caleb. Just they've been there. They've been in the Final Four, and also we have people who like witnessed it. Like I mean, Trey, Arch, Nana. Just like people who knows what it is and actually seen it. If they didn't like actually do it. So.
We got to talk about your game for a second. Obviously, the teammates are great and all that stuff. Early in the season, man, you're so physically imposing. You had success early. And then Justin Moore gets healthy. And not saying you had to change your game, but you had to attack from different spots, right?
Yeah.
That's improved your productivity in my mind and how efficient you're able to be. Take us through your game. We understand you're an explosive athlete. What have you been working on? What have you improved on as the season's gone on?
I'll say the most important thing I had to improve on was my shooting. It was getting there, but then I had a little setback where I couldn't really like shoot the ball for like a month, or dribble my right hand for the month. So just me getting the back of swing of things, doing some right hand work. So I'll say the biggest strength and like the improvement I need is just like being consistent instead of being a streaky shooter, being consistent, and shooting the ball off like a good shot selection. So.
Well, if this building and this tournament's taught us anything, it's that somebody can find a hot streak quickly in the Big East tournament. Cam Whitmore, congratulations on Freshman of the Year.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Congrats, Cam.
Yes.
Congratulations, big guy.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah. And Villanova will be in action tonight at 8 Eastern time against Georgetown.
And by the way, that 27-3 record, I mean, we've been tracking that the last few years. That never got old to find remarkable.
No.
I mean, think about that stat for a sec. When you're talking about a program over the course of a decade in its conference tournament.
One of those 3 losses came to the Georgetown Hoyas. Can you name the program who's delivered the other 2 to Villanova in this building?
2016, Kevin Willard Seton Hall Pirates, the Isaiah Whitehead Big N1 game.
Yep.
In the Big East Championship game. And
Sterling Gibbs.
that scene hole, the other one, the day session buzzer beater.
Yes, that's right. Good
That was
pull.
2014, 2015.
You're right on.
Thank you.
Shaka Smart.
Congrats, Coach.
How we doing, Coach? Congrats.
Congratulations on
to
Big
see you.
East Coach of the Year. It is great to see you. Was thinking about your journey, your season arc, and before the season started, I had the opportunity to sit in on one of your practices, and you shared with your group different video clips of the team and of big dunks, a big three here, and then you said, guys, let's rewind it a little bit. Look at all the pieces and parts that played a role in that eventual play. Don't care who gets the shine. How much do you feel all of that with your team?
We have a really connected group of guys. They love each other, first and foremost. They spend an incredible amount of time together off the court, and they truly pull for each other. I mean, all of our guys and coaches being here today because Tyler won the award. They weren't here for me. They were here for Tyler. The way that they feel about one another, and Terrence knows this from his playing days, there's nothing more powerful than that on a team.
Sure.
And the old cliche is you want your whole to be greater than the sum of your parts. Well, the sum of our parts, coaches included, were picked 9th in this league, and our whole finished 1st in this league. So something happened there relationship-wise and growth and development-wise that allowed us to be successful.
You know, Coach, I'm glad you brought that up when you were at the podium, because John and I were talking about it last night, that it seemed like yesterday we were sitting with you at the table on the court at MSG. You just got picked 9th, and you didn't waver then, too, about how much you liked the group, how much you felt that they were connected moving forward. I'm curious, was there a certain point in the season to where you thought, or do you remember a certain point of the season to where you're like, yeah, this group's got it, it might be special?
Well, I'm always crazy enough to think we can be good. So, actually last year, after our guys took a little bit of time off when the season ended, we got back in the gym, and we started playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and I just saw chemistry between different guys. Oso and Cam, unstoppable in, playing in get action and playing in a two-man game. Tyler and Omax, Stevie, Job, and just started to see, man, these guys really, really like each other, fit well together, and they have a willingness to work, every single one of them. I don't think it was until we played Purdue, our 3rd game of the year, that it was like, okay, here's this group against big-time competition on the road, and we really showed through about 33 minutes in that game that we could play with anyone, but we didn't finish the game. And we had a few games like that early in the year, including our Providence game on the road, which was our 2nd conference game, and games where we played well enough to win for most of the game, but not well enough to win at the end of the game. And I think some of the close wins that we had in January and February is what really kind of put us over the hump, if you will, in terms of really a belief that, hey, this group, if we hang in there and we stay together and we follow the plan, we always are going to have a chance to win.
Great stuff.
Coach, I don't know if you remember this, but you called me after my freshman year and said, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to go take this job at Florida. And I think you were shocked that I was happy for you. And the reason being was, I was like, you're going from Oliver Purnell, one of the best defensive coaches in the country, to Billy Donovan, one of the best offensive coaches in the country. You go to VCU, you're one of the best defenses in the country. Take a detour to Texas, get to Marquette, the best offense in the country. Versatility is such a buzzword. Like coaching versatility, you have it. I mean, it's been awesome to watch, and somebody who's been a fan for a long time, obviously. You recruited me. I'm a huge fan, Coach.
Well, T.O.
But you to be able to do all that, it's pretty impressive.
So just so we get the record straight, John, I was a fan of T.O. way before he was a fan of mine. There was many a late night that he and his dad were in the gym, and I was the only staff member around to stop by. But the point you make, I think you have to go with what fits your players.
Sure.
And one of the best things you can do as a coach is not try to put a square peg in a round hole or vice versa. I love pressing. I love it. I love fast break basketball. I love doing everything to the extreme. But you know what is more important than that? What does Tyler Kolek want to do? What is Oso Iguodaro good at doing out there?
Sure.
What fits Cam Jones? And that's what I feel like our guys have really led the way with. And as the season's gone on, we've, as coaches, trusted them more and more and more. Okay, that's what you guys want to do. Go ahead, let's go with it.
Now, I do have a follow-up to all of that from Mr. Oglesby. It's a two-parter. Number one, so did he embrace those defensive concepts? And number two, out of all those shots that you watched him take, then in games, did he ever see a shot that he didn't like?
Okay, so listen.
Here we go.
I've coached a few guys like this over the years. T.O. was a real fan favorite at Clemson. And
So we've heard.
Yeah. So I've told him.
when he got the ball, anytime he was over half court, all he had to do was be over half court. The whole crowd in Little John Coliseum said, "Shoot it, shoot it." So I give him a lot of credit for, he's a guy that his teammates would probably say he's never met a shot he didn't like, but he actually showed pretty good restraint relative to what the crowd wanted him to do.
That's a very relative statement right there.
As it relates to defense. And I feel the same way about Tyler Kolek. I feel the same way about certain other, Cam Jones, certain other really good offensive players that I've coached. It's amazing how much of defense is effort and positioning.
Sure.
And Terrence was actually very, very good at being in the right spot, giving great effort, and more athletic than you might think looking at his bald head right now.
Yeah.
He will never let us live what you just said down.
Oh, yeah.
You're saving that clip and running that.
It's going to be tweeted every week at least. But the athleticism is fleeting, along with the hair. So there you go.
How do you feel about this week, this tournament?
Man, it's going to be a heck of a war. I mean, first of all, how I feel, I'm glad we're not playing today. I think having a bye is no small feat. It's very, very important. And you look at the 5 teams in our league that have a bye, they did it the old-fashioned way. They earned it.
Yeah.
That being said, that doesn't guarantee that you win the next game, even if you're playing someone that had a bye. And we've seen that over the years.
Coach, for the hoops junkies, because those are really the fans that are tuning in for this type of stuff right now, what's most important preparation-wise when you're in town these few days? At this point, you're playing a team a third time. Is it more the film? Is it more the meetings? Is it more the walkthroughs at the gyms around the city? Like, where is it?
For us, it's the connectivity amongst our guys, many conversations between 2 or 3 guys, the team getting together and saying, hey, this is what we need to do. You know, we're in a situation where we're going to play either Butler, who we played a little over a week ago, or St. John's, who we played less than a week ago.
Right.
So I told the guys, I said, listen, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're doing no scouting, none. We've already practiced today. And then Wednesday night, once we know who we're playing, we'll go over their personnel, but you guys will do 90% of the talking. You guys talk about, Seamus Lukosius. You guys talk about David Jones. You guys talk about their players because you know them a lot better than we do. You've been out there with them. And then, tomorrow morning we might walk through a couple out of bounds plays or sets that gave us trouble the last time we played that team. But other than that, it's about our connectivity and our guys making an eyeball contract with one another to say, let's do this.
I love that. An eyeball contract. Are you kidding me? Let me ask you
need
this.
an eyeball contract this week. Let's stay focused.
You don't want to gaze into these eyes.
Well, first of all, Coach, nobody's happier for you than me, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Even knowing
flew
you
up.
15, I flew up because I wanted to make sure that John invited me. I'm happy that I got to be here to see you receive this award. It's well deserved. And I say all that to say this. You've been in the ACC, you've been in the SEC, been in the Big 12. My first Big East tournament was last year. It's different. What makes it different to you compared to some of those other leagues?
I think there's an inertia of energy in this tournament, and this is only my second year being in it, that goes back for so many years. that it is just different. Sure. And then you add that to, and obviously part of that is the Garden. But, for me, when I walk in the Garden, I think of Allen Iverson. I think of Patrick Ewing. I think of Ray Allen, Kevin Ollie, Jim Calhoun. I think of all these players and coaches that made Kemba Walker. I mean, think about the run that they went on. They had to win 5, I believe, to win the Big East, and then they ended up winning 6 more to win the national championship. There's an inertia created by those moments that even affects the players and coaches and fans and media that follow it today. And, again, there's something to being in this building every year that's just different than maybe if you rotate it or if you're in, let's say anything less than the world's most famous arena.
The Golden Eagles hit the floor in the world's most famous arena tomorrow, noon Eastern time on FS1 against Butler or St. John. Shaka Smart, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats, Coach.
There he is. Big East Coach of the Year. You've got a media scrum. Kuykendall is running a tight ship over here. So the most I've seen him work in his 15-year run at Marquette here today. We might get Player of the Year. I don't know now after that comment.
It's a strong maybe at this point.
It's a strong maybe.
Yeah, that was a different type of eyeball contract that I just
I've
saw.
had stare downs. I had a stare down with Kuykendall last year on Bourbon Street. He didn't know where he was. I'll just be very honest.
There wasn't a whole lot of eye contact. There was some wandering eyes.
That's right. That's right. Well,
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if this was like this when you played for Shaka when he was an assistant coach for Purnell at Clemson, but he's great with keywords, and phrases. And you mentioned the branding when you're in the offices and the gyms and the locker room. Like even something like that eyeball contract.
You stuck to that too. I stuck to it right away.
No,
as soon as he said, I was like,
no, but I like
is
that.
it easier?
Fantastic.
Is it easier for players not to cut you off? Isn't it easy as ever for a player to know if you're fake?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
No, for sure. And the other thing that I am a big fan of is how much player accountability there is. Like he's going to have these guys run the scout meetings tomorrow night at the hotel. They have skin in the game. They have input.
Different era.
It's a we. Yeah.
It's a different time to coach a kid.
Yep.
Like on a deeper discussion, we have these types of talks of like, does the yelling work as much in 2023, or is it more player? Hey, if you guys want to be great, you have the information. You guys have to take ownership of it.
yeah, you're letting them have ownership. That's the huge thing. I would have loved to have had that when I was playing 15 years ago. It's just not the same as it used to be. It's more do as I say, not as I do, kind of. I think we have Tyler coming up, but the Shaka does a tremendous job of getting those guys together and putting the right words in. Congratulations, T.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Tyler, we were just talking about it because
He played for Shaka. That's why it went long.
yeah, Shaka Smart just told us that the scouting's done of looking at things Tuesday and Wednesday. You already practiced today, but that whenever you know your opponent here tonight of Butler or St. John's, that the players are going to be talking 90% of the time. What's that system like, and how much do you appreciate the fact that he lets you guys sort of take ownership of all that?
Yeah, before every game, we kind of meet as players and go through everybody on the scouting report. And it's, like you said, player-led. And I feel like that's the most powerful thing in basketball, in college sports, actually, is being player-led. And that's something that we really want to preach. And me and Oso do a great job of kind of spearheading that and taking that challenge on.
We asked this to Shaka, and you've never lacked confidence in yourself or your teammates. And Shaka referenced your Purdue game early in the year. Was there a certain part of this season to where you felt, we could win the league and we could be ranked with anybody?
Yeah, we played, like you said, Purdue, and then we played Baylor early on. Kind of did well against both of them. We were up 10 against Purdue with 5 minutes to go, and I feel like early on in the year we couldn't close out games. We weren't finishing games the way that we needed to. And I feel like once we got that first experience of closing out a game and really taking hold of a game and making it ours, we kind of took that and ran with it and used that formula to build on.
I'm a big puzzle piece guy. I sit and I look at a team, and I'm like, man, that fits together. Omax can hit shots. Cam Jones can score. Also, he can create some things on the perimeter. During the preseason, you said in no uncertain terms that you thought you guys were better than 9th place. What was it coming into this season that gave you that sort of confidence that's obviously panned out exactly like you thought it would?
Just all the work that we put in. We know each other as players. We're hanging out every day. We're on the floor every day. So we know what each other's capable of, and it just, the confidence grows from playing together and practicing and just getting better.
Tyler, I got to ask you this, and T, you're going to know this. As analysts, now you've always been known as a gym rat, no matter where you've been. But as analysts, we rarely see someone's shooting percentage numbers jump like that from deep.
Yeah.
Besides the obvious of you being a gym rat, was there, where does that come from? Was there another dynamic?
I mean, coming out of high school, I was mostly known just as a shooter. I wasn't really a point guard per se, but it's just the work. Obviously, like you said, the work that I put in and the confidence. I feel like confidence is the biggest thing that anybody can have to improve themselves as a player and as a person. Cam Jones always says, I mean, he's the most confident guy I've ever met. He's never seen a shot that he doesn't like, which I love. I tell him to shoot it every single time he touches it. But, just my confidence growing and my coaches and my teammates instilling that confidence in me really helped me this year.
Great.
You referenced being a shooter coming out of high school. At your previous spot, you weren't necessarily the playmaker. Shaka put that ball in your hands. I mean, it completely changed the dynamic of how you play. You talked about his shooting percentages. I think in large part it was because you got comfortable having the ball in your hands that much, and then knocking down shots came with it, came along with it, because you've always been a good shooter. It's just a matter of getting comfortable within your role. How much do you appreciate that role? Because obviously it's paying off big time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm forever grateful for the things that the coaching staff has done for me, Coach Smart has done for me. Just from day one, kind of putting the ball in my hands and rolling it out. Even last year when I was struggling a little bit, I just had to learn, like you said, learn when to pick my spots, learn when to shoot, because I was making all the decisions passing-wise, and shooting and scoring was kind of secondary. And this year I've kind of found that balance and mix of knowing when to score, knowing when to shoot, knowing what the team needs me to do.
Tyler Kolek, what a season. Congratulations on Big East Player of the Year honors. And I know you've already won one regular season title. Marquette's never won a Big East tournament championship.
Trying to be
change
the first
that?
again.
Can we also make
Good
note,
luck.
this is high level.
I was about to say the same
future
thing.
head coach potential.
Tremendous
Wardrobe.
attire.
Yeah, thank you very much.
High level,
You guys
sir.
look good yourselves.
Appreciate it.
Power of J.C. Penney.
We got to get to his tailor.
Yep.
That's important. Yep.
Tyler, thanks so much.
Appreciate
He
it,
is the
man.
Big East Player
Congratulations. Get after it
of
this week.
the Year. Tyler Kolek joining us as we wrap things up here on our tournament preview show, awards show. All right, guys, let's just give our big prediction here because our crew's got to get everything turned around for 3 o'clock, 5:30, 8 o'clock. FS1 is where you can find your coverage. St. John's Butler first, Seton Hall DePaul second, Villanova Georgetown third. The team that you believe will hoist the trophy on Saturday night and cut down the nets inside Madison Square Garden is.
I'm going to give you a dynamic, and I don't mean to sound all over the place because whether you talk about your regular season champs Marquette, whether you talk about Creighton, whether you talk about Xavier, no one should be surprised if these teams cut down the nets on Saturday night. The dynamic that keeps just sticking in my head is don't be surprised if the winner of that 4-5 game between Providence and UConn, with those fan bases and with just the way that those teams have shown magic at MSG, are cutting down the nets Saturday night.
Entirely possible. Gosh, it's going to be a heck of a game. I think that's the big thing that we're taking away from the second day of the tournament. That 4-5 matchup is going to be terrific. Creighton's been any of the top four could certainly go on and win. Just a matter of who's playing well right now. And like Vin said, you have those guys. I didn't pick one. I did that almost intentionally. But it can snowball, especially with those fan bases there. I think that 4-5 game is huge. I think UConn is starting to play well again. I think the Huskies, it's entirely possible they go ahead and win it.
Look, there have been 8 Big East tournaments played since conference reconfiguration with the 2020 COVID saga. And of those 8, 5 were won by Villanova. 1 was won by Georgetown. 1 was won by Providence. 1 was won by Seton Hall. A Midwest team has never won this thing since reconfiguration. Sometimes it's best when you're not at the awards ceremony. You sort of go into the tournament creeping underneath the radar.
I like that.
Greg McDermott has been a bridesmaid too long. Give that man a ring. Creighton is my pick to win this thing this week. They've been to 4 of 8.
Yep.
In their 5th out of 9. They'll be naming a cocktail after the Blue Jays on Saturday night in New York.
It's going to be a great 72 hours.
And you'll be
Mr.
drinking
Fanta.
it. And we'll be drinking the Kool-Aid, too, with you. Tonight, we'll have shoot-around after the triple header. Who knows what we'll see on First Round Wednesday. Tariq Turner will join our crew as well. For Terrence Oglesby, for Vin Parisi, I'm John Fanta. Buckle up, folks. Grab the popcorn. Big East tournament time is here. Get to FS1 at 3 Eastern time.